Hello, this is Sarah again, and now we're going to be going over Adobe Express. Alright, so I'm here on adobe.com/express/create. I'm already logged in. You can create a design without creating an account, or you can use it doing Google. I'm already logged in because I happen to have an Adobe Creative Cloud account, but just like on Canva, use your Google account. And now you're going to go to create your design now. That is one way to get started. How I'm going to get started, very similar to Canva again, is we're going to say, okay, do I want a flyer, a logo, a banner, a social media post? I have lots of different options. I think what I'm going to do though is scroll through all these visualized templates until I find one that I like. Just like what I did before, I'm going to be making another about me poster and kind of showing you the basics of Adobe Express. Okay, I'm going to use this to make my all about me. So I've selected the template, pressed edit, and now I'm going to express.com/design remix. Adobe Express does tend to be a lot slower than Canva, especially while I'm recording, so expect some technical delays, but that will give you time to catch up and to do things with me. Alright, so as you can see, very similar to Canva in our layout, we have a left design toolkit. On the right we have some effects, and up here we have, home, projects, saving, download, share, just like Canva. So first we're going to start with text. So this is a text box that's already been added on our template. To edit the text, you don't go click right here. You can't, I'm double clicking, nothing's happening, single clicking, nothing's happening. Instead, I go over here to edit text. So that's a big difference. You gotta go to the right side of the screen. And I'm gonna change this to all. And then I can make it kind of transparent. Oh. I think on this type of text you can't make it transparent, but on other ones I could. I'm gonna grab the, as you can see, really just a much slower program. So I dragged that about 15 seconds ago and now it's moving, but that's okay. I'm gonna close out of the edit background, grab my all, drag it right in the center and put it back to 100% transparency, because it looks like you can make it transparent, which is fun if I want there just to be like a little echo, a little small font, something just in the background. That's a great option. So that's how I edit text. I go to this box, I can play around with the specifics. I can use this to make it curved. But really I just want it to be a regular, I don't want it to be a grid. I just want it to be a regular text. So what I'm gonna do to get that all fixed up is I'm gonna click on it again, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z. So as you can see, there's a lot of ways to customize these. Transparency, I can make it a grid, I can make it curved. And again, how I did that shape was I selected this little circle. This is left and right aligned. I can also change the spacing between the letters. This is the font, the color, and then here the shadow effect is turned on. So my regular text is white. Let's see, I can change this to green. And then I can come to my shadow click down and change it. So now I want it to have a white. Boom. Okay, now I'm going to move. We've already seen me move text. You just drag it and it keeps it in line. And what I like is it's showing me in a line of this diagonal, which is not on Canva. Okay, so now I'm gonna edit these two texts as well so that they fit with so I click once, come to edit, just gonna write about. Here you can see it doesn't have the shadow, but it has the outline section turned on, and I'm gonna change this so that it's blue. And then here I click, and change it to just ME. And then I'm going to make it match my all. So I'm gonna go here, wait for it to load, hit green. Perfect. So now let's go over if I wanted to add new text. So you can go ahead and pause if you want, play around with the text on your template, try to change the color, make it curved, uncurve it using your Command Z, play around with some of the fonts, some of the effects. There's not as many effects as there are on Canva. There's just the outline, shadow, and drop effect. But play around with them, see if you can add a shadow, take it away, that kind of thing. And make sure that you're practicing not double clicking to edit, but going over to this right side. Okay, welcome back. So let's say I wanted to add more. Just like Canva, I can scroll here and go to presets. So I kind of like this. I think it's kind of cute. So but it's premium. So just like on Canva, there are some premium things, and I probably have premium because I have a Creative Cloud account. But for most of us teachers, that's just not the best option. So this is super cute. I can add a little mug. I can do paragraphs. So these are a little more this is actually much more powerful than Canva. I can drag in a whole little really advanced setup with effects, with boxes, super customizable, super great. Command Z, gonna get rid of that. So what I'm looking for, perfect. This will work great. I'm gonna drag this on, wait for it to load. And now this is going to be my name. So I've come over here, I can click add your text. I can hit plus, and that just creates a text box. I can search, so let's say let's see what they have for teacher. So while it's loading, you can see that when it added text, it just added text in the same style of the last thing I added. So with an outline and a shadow and clear, just with the outline. So you can see it has more options for teacher, a lot better options for teacher than we had on Canva. So the text and the automatic text, the auto-generated text, honestly, much better than on Canva, and that's good to know. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. Come over here, click once on it, type in my name, which is Sarah Sewell. And then I'd like to change the color. But it looks like because it's an auto preset, it's limiting my customization, which is frustrating. So it has to stay black because I don't have an option to change the color. So I can change it all, or I can just highlight one word and change that style. Very nice, but I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. Wait for it to load. Come here and I'm gonna make that straight. Okay, so go ahead and play around with adding text. with using the feature. I'm actually going to try a different text because this doesn't really match. So I'm going to go text, and this looks like a great little thing to add, especially if I can change the color. So as you can see, it's letting me edit the group because these are a bunch of grouped icons, just like on Canva. But what it's not letting me do, okay, here we go. Now I can change the text. So I can go here and say, Sarah Sewell. Wait for that to load. Click here, double click. So I've double clicked on this text box. Now what I'm trying to do, so groups can be difficult to navigate. One thing that I can do is click on this layer and ungroup it. That's not actually helping. So layers will have different levels of customization. So what we can see here is a feature that Adobe doesn't have. If it's not something that I've imported, like this is set on its color and this little thing, and they are hard to ungroup. But if it's something I've added like the background or the text or these little things, this is the layer feature, which allows me to go through and select parts of the design. For example, if I want to move the starburst, I can click here, and now it's already pre-selected for me to move it. So I'm going to move this here, move this up here, just making it visual. But, so see, I'm having some trouble selecting that. If I just couldn't find it in the design, I can just go through and click on the layer to move it. So now I'm going to click on this, which will select the layer, and ungroup it. So now each part is an individual little shape. So I can go to this box, this green box. So again, what I did was I clicked here and I clicked ungroup, just like on Canva. It's Command-Shift-G. So I'm going to Command-Shift-G, ungroup it. Now I'm going to go to this green box, change the color so that it matches this. Give it a second to load. Now I'm going to come here, change the box again to that nice mint color. Come here, change it to mint. So again, I couldn't do this while it was grouped. I think that's something I could do on Canva, so kind of sad. Here, because this is an added image, it's not going to let me change the color. Just like, we'll get to this, it's from these design assets or shapes section, so I can't change the color, but what I can do is filter it to make it match a little bit. So I can make it gray, make it blue, I can change it to this, just trying to make it look more in theme. I can choose the two colors that it's working with. So here I chose mint and white, and now it looks much more cohesive. I can even change it to blue, and I might change this to white. So now that fits much better in with the design. So again, what I did was I clicked on the layer. I saw that I can't change the color because there would be a section with the color blocks to change it. Went down to Effects, Color, Duotone, and that lets me customize what two colors are in this design. So practice this with whatever you've had on. If you have brought in text, practice ungrouping those text elements so that you can work with each one of the layers. So here I brought in text, it was multiple boxes, multiple text boxes, and this little design. If your text box came with a design, see if you can change the colors. Just practice customizing, and what you're going to start with is ungrouping. Then you're going to go design element by design element, and then once you're done, it's probably going to be convenient for that all to have an ungroup again. So select it again and hit Command G. Boom, back to one group. All right. Okay, now welcome back. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a photo of myself. So I can come here and grab photos, and unlike in Canva where these are separate or they're all together, elements, shapes, design assets, this is a separate part. So if I wanted, I could bring in this pretty lady and say that's me, but it's not me. So instead of using the photos features, I am going to go to design asset. Nope. I am going to just drag in my personal photo. So here's my photo, drag her in. So unlike Canva, there's not a specific landing place where there's for uploads. You just drag in outside elements of the design. I'm gonna come to my photo, make it bigger. I'm probably gonna come here and change this text so that it's smaller. Change it here. So I made that about a little bit smaller. Then I'm going to drag this up just to make more space for my own photo. So as you can see, part of the design process is every time I add an element, I kind of got to recalibrate what I've already done. So one way that I think about creating things for my classroom is get everything on the page and then order it. So there's no point getting everything to look perfect if you haven't, added your photo yet, haven't added your rubric yet. You got to go step by step. Okay, so there's my photo. So I think I'd like to filter this. Same way as before, I can come to the duotone and use a fun little preset. Let me look how I look in pink and white. Very fun. I can make myself black and white. I can make myself kind of saturated, colorized. But I like the dual tone. I can blur and unblur. And I can enhance. Come down here just like on Canva. That was over here in our filter section, but I can make the highlights really strong. I can make the shadow really strong. And because I only have going from white to pink in this image, these aren't going to work, but I can sharpen it, make all the edges really sharp, but I'm not going to do any of that. So I went to filters, selected duotone, then I can also come to enhancements to change each one of these individual metrics, and I can blur as well. But now I want to crop. So I double click on the image and I go to crop and shape. So I'd like to make this into a circle. If you remember on Canva without premium, you can't do this, but I'm gonna make myself into a heart. So that was super easy. I just clicked crop and shape, scrolled down and hit crop. I can also choose ratio. So for example, square, classic Instagram, I can freeform it, which comes here, and with this grid I can say, okay, I know that I want my face to be right in this main grid, or I can go to the original, but I'm going to keep it in a heart and hit check. So now I've got myself added in a heart using the crop feature. So now the last thing to do is to add a few fun little design elements. So we've already got these super fun little burst of color, and we've got our little thumbs up, but we come down to shapes. I can grab a ton of shapes. All of these are free. These are pretty much like icons, and I personally like how Adobe Express separates these out from design elements and other things, because these are just simple icons. For example, if I was making a rubric and I wanted students to write something, then I'm just getting simple shapes of pencils that help them visualize what they're doing. But if I want to create a cohesive story, then I can come to teacher in my design assets. Let me see, maybe classroom. Well, let's say that I'm doing a nature theme. Then I have all these things about nature. Now I can add in a hot air balloon. If it doesn't really fit, I can add in these fun little collages, just anything to make it fit. And these are a little more modern and fun than what you have on Canva, in my opinion. So I like the Adobe feel. I think it feels more modern, more trendy, just a little bit more advanced, but it's much slower. And there's a few things it's less powerful on, which you'll see later on in the slideshow. So now your last assignment is to practice adding a shape and a design asset. All right, once you've added those, you're good and you're set on Adobe Express. So thank you so much for joining me on this introduction to Adobe Express. Feel free to play around. You can see what I created on the next slide, and I'll see you next time. Bye!